Hey everyone, welcome to the North American Challenger Series playoffs. We're in the semifinals now. Of course, it's brought to you thanks to our friends at Coca-Cola. David FLICKR alongside me is the wonderful and amazing, the man, the myth, the legend, Aiden Zyrene Moon. How's it going?
It's going pretty well, Freak. DJ Turley.
Do you feel legend, wait for it, dairy today?
I do.
But at some point, you've killed people 8 times without dying. So congratulations on getting legendary at least once in your life in League of Legends. Guys, the 2014 Summer Playoffs continue today with back-to-back semifinal matches. Up first, second seed Curse Academy takes on third seed Team LOLPro.
And immediately following that best-of-3 series, it's the #1 seed, Team Coast, going up against 4th seed Team 8.
And at the end of these playoffs, the top 3 teams, there's only 4 left, will battle in the Spring Promotion Tournament for an LCS spot in 2015. Here's a brief recap of yesterday's quarterfinal round. Team 8 defeated XDG 2-1 and today faces Team Coast for that effort. Team LOLPro also claimed victory in their 3-game bout with Denial Esports, and LOLPro must now face Curse Academy to advance.
And the winners of today's 2 matches will move on to the finals on Sunday. But more importantly, a victory today will automatically clinch a spot in the Spring Promotion Tournament. And a loss in this semifinal round does not mean elimination just yet. Today's losing teams will battle in the 3rd place match tomorrow for the final spot in the Spring Promotion Tournament.
And of course, you can always follow all the Challenger and LCS playoff action by going to lolesports.com.
There, you'll find the playoff schedules, scores, links to VODs, and more under the Leagues and Tournaments tab. And if you need help finding it, it's by the top of the page.
Right up there. Of course, now the first of today's semifinal matchups is about ready to go. Curse Academy against Team LOLPro.
Yeah, as we said earlier, LOLPro won yesterday's quarterfinal match against Denial Esports in 3 games. In that series, Pro looked really impressive, taking an early advantage in kills and turning them into dragons and towers. In their 2 victories, they had a game plan and they executed it flawlessly. I remember their first game, they won with about a 20k gold advantage at around 25 minutes.
Yeah, LOLPro so far have played incredibly well from ahead. It's when the game's actually close, they seem to falter a little bit against Denial, so we'll see what it looks like today. Of course, a lot of the credit for that perfect execution in their wins comes down to the bottom lane of AD carry Signature and support Patoy. In this series, the two combined for a 5.78 KDA, which is pretty impressive, but they'll be tested actually much more strongly now against Curse Academy's bot lane of Impactful and Bunny Fufu.
Yeah, we talked back and forth about how great Signature and Patoy looked, but we didn't know how much of a test they really had.
Right.
It is this relatively new bot lane, especially since it's only been about 2 weeks. That bot lane has been going back and forth between Hoodstomp, Low, all these different players.
Right.
So now they finally have it locked down, and that's not the only test that the Academy has lined up for today. They're holding a pop quiz in the mid lane with the new addition of Keen from the Oceanic professional scene. Now, Keen's going to replace ManCloud, and when you check out his solo queue standings, you will see why. Keen is ranked in the Challenger tier in North America. I think he's around number 6. Korea, he was top 15, and Oceania, he was number 1.
Yeah, pretty good player. Korean player came down to play for Curse Oceania, now coming into North America with the Curse organization. So, going to see fun things from him. Keen is actually one half of our matchup to watch in this series today. He goes up against LOLPro's mid laner Lod, who also had a big day yesterday against Denial Esports, going 13-5-10 with a 4.6 KDA in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and Lod has shown that he loved to play those mages like Orianna, Syndra. He can also branch off, play the Yasuo and Zed, which are going to be ban-worthy here. And Keen and Lod share a lot of the same champions. Keen was known for his Orianna, his LeBlanc, his Nidalee, his Kayle. 3 of those champions have been nerfed.
Yeah.
Orianna took a little bit of an auto-attack nerf in 4.14, but he just picked up the Yasuo, the Zed, the Talon, and so there's a lot of shared champions here, and the Syndra is going to be up for grabs too.
Yeah, although I guess yesterday I was like, oh man, it's going to be all about Syndra, then no one grabbed it again. It feels like everyone's kind of hopped off that champion. But yeah, Lod, you mentioned as well, you said they share champions. Yeah, there's a Zed ban away. He's been playing a lot of Assassins himself as well. Evelyn dropped away from St. Vicious, and here we go into the game, guys.
Yeah, it's the sibling rivalry here. The Curse organization, you know these teams play each other all the time.
Yeah.
Scrim partners, you know, they get a lot of information off each other. Pretty much same coaching staff too, I believe.
I don't remember actually exactly. I remember actually from talking with Liquid a few weeks ago back in the Summer 2 playoffs. He's like, actually, they're all, even though they're all my teams, it's like they're all actually kind of separate. They'll have their own sort of staffing.
Okay, so a little microcosms.
Occasionally they will pair up and be like, let's do some specialized scrims, but they're actually all pretty self-sufficient.
Yeah.
It's not as much of a team kill as you'd think.
Yeah, I do like, going back to the game right now, I do like the fact that they banned out the Nunu, because that was a 100% win rate yesterday.
Yeah.
Saw it picked in 4 games, won all 4 of them.
Yeah. It's interesting to see which teams kind of favor that type of champion, which ones don't. Nidalee's still away from Hanser, though, so that ban has not gone anywhere. Lod will have Yasuo if he wants it, unless Keen can first pick that away.
That's the thing, though. Are they going to ban it away? Because Maokai is still on the table, too.
True.
So they have to make a decision here. They might leave just a lot more up and say, Chris, he's been spamming the Rise lately a lot.
Right.
Solo queue recently, and both games he played against Coast in the Summer 2 finals, he played Rise. They ban that away. They leave Kha'Zix up. They leave Maokai and Yasuo.
Insta-lock Maokai, of course, for Hanser. I'm not surprised at all, but in fact, Saint wanted Kha'Zix over that all anyway, so that is an interesting sort of priority here to actually pick that one over. So Chris had better well be confident that he can beat up Maokai in the top lane.
Yeah, and the fact that there isn't a whole lot left for him. We have Alistar, Nidalee, Rise banned away, Maokai picked. He's going to have to fall back on something else. I mean, he could pick up Lulu.
Yeah.
He could pick up Riven.
Right, and we've seen Riven, right? Like, we saw SK Prime Spitted J pick Riven into anything he wants to, and he had a pretty good time against Maokai.
And it's Chris's most play.
It's Chris's most play. Like, I'm expecting the Riven mains to come out and actually play Riven because I've just actually seen it do well, and I'm surprised to see teams play it so much in solo queue but never bring it out in competitive.
Yeah, sometimes we've seen Aurelia against Maokai top.
Right.
Because you don't cast a lot of spells, he doesn't get a lot of his passive, because you just hit 10 style auto attack trade.
Yeah.
It's pretty okay. And then you have the reduce tenacity. You have the extra tenacity on the passive, so my root is long and stuff, but your gank assistance isn't that great, and Maokai just scales up alongside you and is more efficient in team fights.
I tend to agree right here. So it's something that could be very risky then to play a sort of fighter against Maokai and hope you beat him up one-on-one, because it's not always going to be that likely. Zilean comes out there for Curse Academy, plus Impactful's going to get Corki for himself. Do have to see where the Zilean goes. It's just been a flex pick.
Here's the thing, though, is I think that the Zilean is going to go on Bunny Fufu because he's been spamming it a lot in solo queue, but that's the thing, is he picks that over Thresh. Which is, and that's a Bunny Fufu staple champion. And you can kind of see just the whole meta shifting in 4.14 as we approach Worlds. Corki is back in the mix. He always comes back around Worlds time. He's always relevant. And now everybody's like, oh, Zilean, Faker played at mid. Wait, this champion is still around. This champion's still really good.
Right.
And now with hyper carries, we can go ahead and make teams around him.
Yeah, well, props to J-Reed for being, I think, the original Zilean support. And I might have my name wrong, but I think that was him. Hover on Orianna here right now for Curse Academy. It is going to be Thresh locked in for Patoy, so Thresh, Tristana, plenty strong lane. Heaven Time going to be rocking the Jarvan jungle with only one jungle ban and one grabbed, so one on Jarvan over everything else.
Yeah, and I said that you pair Zilean with a hyper carry typically. Corki's not a hyper carry, but you are going to see it paired up in this lineup here just to have that extra nuisance, that extra poke in the lane to help try and win it. Wave clear, really hard, big early game bully between Corki and Zilean, and then you'll just transition later on. And I mean, if the Mundo's going to go down and he has Zilean ultimate on him, he's just going to get so much life back all the time. It's really hard to deal with that.
So here's an interesting thing then, is it's a pretty reasonable damage lineup here for Curse Academy. It's very well-rounded in that you've got a lot of persistent damage coming out, and anyone who does die is going to stay alive for a little bit longer. So a very sort of churning team fight for Curse Academy. Lawp, on the other hand, honestly, they're pretty explosive. You've got every single person can knock up people for this Yasuo. Lod might have a field day here in the mid lane.
Yeah, every single player, like you said, every champion can assist that last breath on Lod. And we saw him play Yasuo in the first game, and then it was banned away from him later on yesterday. He knows how to play that champion, but now he's up against Oceanic mid laner Keen. This guy has played Korean servers, Challenger, NA, Challenger, Oceania, Challenger, and he was regarded as the best mid laner when he was on Curse Oceania.
Yeah.
This guy brings it, he picks up new champions, and he's on a comfort champion with Orianna.
True.
So he can bring a lot to this team. And that team looks more like, can we get the ball in with St. Vicious and then collapse on it on top of it. They're also going to have a good front line with Mundo, who scales up alongside Maokai. They kind of just beat each other up. They're just big walls. Nobody's really going to run away with that matchup.
Likely not. And honestly, as well, with jungle pressure, I think you can make kills happen with Mundo plus Kha'Zix. Yeah. We've seen those top lane tanks get dived, and it's been working out by and large. I think it's very doable. If you can get to level 6 first, especially, I think that's a really big sort of power spike.
Or you get to the Mundo before he gets 6.
Exactly. It's the big one is you basically seem to time it when your top laner is going to get 6. He pushes in, gets 6, the opponent's not, and you dive right then on that wave. That tends to be the really big timing window that you can tilt that matchup. And then, but yeah, it's not one where you're going to have this sort of crazy split push that you just sort of bowl over your opponent with. It's not like it's an Aurelia versus Jace where it's like one of these is going to die over and over again. So yeah, a low action top lane for sure. The team fight's going to be interesting. You, of course, want to watch for what happens when you've got a Tristana and a Maokai on the same team. Those were first-round picks by Team LOLPro here. And they should be doing work.
Yeah, and like you said, that top lane, it's kind of high contact, but low action. It sounds strange, but they just beat each other up, but nobody really moves in terms of HP bars.
Yeah.
And if somebody does lose a trade substantially, then it's time to get your jungler up there.
So let's see what happens, guys. We are getting ourselves into this game. Curse Academy milling out of the blue side. They're going to square off in the front middle, just because why not?
And Signature, he's just going to hold this mid lane. We talked about Signature and Patoy up against Impactful and Bunny Fufu. They have something to prove here. Because Signature, this guy came out of retirement, sort of. He went back to school for the last 2 years. He was on Team Dynamic with Zion, Spartan, and Nintendude. And then he ended up as a sub for Curse, as a sub for Dignitas. And now he's back on Challenger. And he had an explosive performance yesterday.
Yeah, he did. He honestly came out swinging, and it was a really good start for him. And we've seen him on now his first hyper carry of the tournament. But so far, that bot lane has done well. We asked if it was a real test to fight up against the Denial bot lane, but we'll now see against one of the best bot lanes in North America here in the North American Challenger scene of Impactful and Bunny Fufu. And here's going to say, look, how well has this roster swap worked out for LoL Pro?
Yeah, there's just a lot of different questions this game.
Yeah.
It's like, how much are Signature and Patoy going to be tested? Can they pass the test? And then Laud in the mid lane. He's proven what he can do in that mid. But up against Keen, it's really on him. What can Keen do? Can the Oceanic player transition into NA Challenger and just wow people?
So we're going to see, man, as everything gets spawning up, everything gets ready to go. 155 as the buffs spawn up. We're going to have St. Vicious starting on the southern side. Looks like Eastern start as well for Heaven Time. So jungles basically mirroring each other. And they'll both be top lane for level 3.
So Heaven Time, yeah, just like you said, mirroring each other in the jungle. They're going to get good leashes. But now this bottom lane, Bunny, Fufu, and Impactful have gone for the bully lane here against Patoy and Signature, who have kind of the more passive lane. Like, you will push a little bit with the Tristana. You'll get some harass off, but the zillion bombs and the Corki damage early will just out-trade you.
Arguably, yeah. Patoy, though, did start Doran's shield, though. He really wants the early combat stats, hoping that they'll actually pay off for him here. Interesting thing we're seeing, yeah, just plenty of damage come out from Bunny Fufu all the same. Interesting thing, though, I've seen from Zillion supports is they actually tend to run attack damage marks instead of magic pen. So the auto attacks more than the bombs are actually very relevant, which gives you some extra reason to get that Doran shield over maybe more potions from bomb harass.
Ooh, good backup there, because they saw the level 2 coming out first. We saw a couple people yesterday having to flash away from early level 2s because they didn't time it correctly.
I think it was that Patoy himself?
It might have been. I think he was dodging a binding.
Yeah. And that's the weird thing, though, is Curse Academy didn't really put that much emphasis on shoving down early on. Patoy has actually been regenning straight up and not really losing any meaningful health, despite the bombs from Fufu. And so I was kind of surprised to see that he was spending mana on bombs instead of pushing the lane down and getting level 2 first.
So we just see Laud in the mid lane here with Keen. CS pretty even, not a lot of action in this early game. And I was told that Keen, by Australian casters, that they have not seen him lose a game in the mid lane. They have not seen him lose lane, but look at this.
Hold on, bottom lane. But if he forces a flash,
lane.
takes a summoner heal as well. Zig trying to get a range, cannot do so. Bomb hits, and now Zig is gonna go down. First one to Impactful, but Patoy wants blood anyway, though. Bunny Fufu 2 hits from dead. He needs one more. It's Patoy in range. He is gonna get the hook, and he gets the kill at the last second, but even still, a double kill to Impactful is massive.
A posthumous hook there for the kill.
Yep.
So a little bit too aggressive from the bot lane of LoL Pro. They went way too hard. They blew all of their summoner spells. Impactful's sitting pretty. He's going to free farm, and he still has his flash for the next engage.
Yeah, that's the thing with exhaust bot lanes. I feel like it's really underrated. Everyone loves to run Ignite because it gives you that kill pressure. Like, okay, we can go in, you're going to die to Ignite damage. But if you go for an all-in and get exhausted, you lose the fight. Your AD carry is basically gone when that happens.
And they take more damage.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, the armor and MR gets shredded now as of 4:14 or 4:13. So Impactful just destroyed poor Signature. It was a really bad sort of underestimation of what Curse Academy could do there.
Yeah, they're trying to rise to the test, go at it head first, but it just didn't work out there, and now they're going to be behind in that lane. This 2-0 Corki, both kills ended up on Impactful. Yeah. He's able to farm, push the wave back, get himself a phage, and now he's way ahead in combat stats in this early game on a Corki. Yeah,
that is really, really significant. The Tear of the Goddess also already done for Bunny Fufu, so he will have mana for days. I actually didn't realize he had actually opened Doran's ring there, unless I misremembered here. So Normally we see pros start with a Spell Thief's Edge, so that is interesting to me.
He doesn't want the extra gold generation. I guess he just wanted the mana regen.
Yeah, it's a little bit more AP, a little bit more mana regen. And it's some health for the combat stats. I'm just very surprised with this choice.
We saw double Dorians here, so he's not actually missing out on any gold generation in comparison to Patoy.
True.
So they're both on the same curve here.
Except for those 2 assists, it's going to make life a little bit painful.
Exactly. But Patoy did get a kill.
That's true. They're pretty equal. Ruby Crystal picked up there against Tear the Goddess. And he's going to get that Sight Stone before too long. Bunny Fufu and Impactful, though, still trying to play aggressively. But Heaven Time's coming down through a ward, though. That will not be a gank that's going to work.
Impactful Bunny Fufu. Going to play it a little safer here. And it's going to be a back off from Heaven Time. But that's going to tell Saint that he can go gank top. But there is a ward that's going to spot him out.
Okay, so nothing happening top lane either, really. 30 to 42 in minions, though. Hanser doing an amazing job against Chris. The one thing I really got to point out, as much as we talk about solo queue rankings and stuff, Hanser's been sitting in Diamond 2 for like most of this tournament, and every single time he impresses me, despite you're like, wow, he can't really win in solo queue. Doesn't seem to matter for him.
Yeah, Hanser does show up sometimes. Yeah, you're always like, what? You're like, when you see a player and you're like, I'm higher ranked than them.
Right. Like Chris is top 20 in Challenger. You would never think Diamond 2 versus 700 points Challenger would be a close matchup. Diamond 2's winning.
Yeah, the thing is that your solo queue match doesn't always say how you will perform in a team, what you'll contribute, but this is the laning phase, right?
Yeah.
I do think that Hanser's been around for a long time, and that his solo queue ranking doesn't do him justice.
I mean, basically solo queue ranking is how good are you at winning in solo queue,
or playing,
which is its own set of... it's just, no, it's literally how good are you at winning solo queue. That is literally the measurement. And things that work in solo queue don't always work in competitive. We talk about players all the time who are solo queue all-stars, but don't have experience playing in competitive. I mean, to be fair, Insect plays Jungle Shaco in IPL.
Yeah.
LPL.
IPL?
Sorry.
Hey, that one might be
He did not play in IPL. But if people are going to get the flay in, a lot of damage coming across. Bunnies, there we go. Oh, there we go. Kill picked up. Zig just going to jump away. Saint Fish is not there to gank in time. What a great engage by Patoy.
Back and forth, though. The fact that Impactful was still up in terms of combat stats, they come out on top, but the kill does go over to Patoy. Saint was off on the wings and gave them a false sense of security. He wasn't 6 yet, didn't have an evolution, and he also didn't have his ultimate to speed him up, so he wasn't going to be a part of that fight. But that means that this is pretty much even again, but LoLPro having this edge based on CS. Mid lane is winning, top lane is winning, and bottom lane's now winning too.
Yeah, this is beautiful stuff. It really just matters who's got the gold itself. Thresh not the biggest gold scaler in the game, so that might be a bit of a lie here. We're certainly going to have a mid-game power spike that will still be better for Impactful with those 2 kills on Corki. And we might see that actually come into play when the Dragon fights show up.
And this mid lane is actually taking kind of a backseat to the action because we're seeing an Avarice Blade first on Delod. You know, it's not too uncommon, but we see a Tear as well on Keen. So they're both going for these builds that are kind of ramping up, going to take some time and pay off later on.
Yeah. And I mean, that's what you're going to do with Yasuo anyways. You're not looking to necessarily lane bully, but survive, get a bunch of farm, and then be a gigantic threat and invades. Because any invade his team goes for, there will be a knockup from the ulti in.
Yes, exactly. No matter where it comes from. The thing is which knockup does he take?
Impactful got pulled into turret range, though. Patoy's going to land the box. Summoner heal used. Patoy's got to be real careful, though. He's 1 hit away from dead. That's not going to be enough for Bunny Fufu, though. But in a 1v2, the AD carries out of the lane.
Yeah, Chris was 1 hit from dead. I'm sorry, Impactful was 1 hit from dead as well.
Yeah.
Both of them very, very close to going down.
It was pretty fearless by both cases. They both had flash up. They're like, no, we're fine.
Oh yeah, the Summoner heal was used.
Yes, it was.
But that was it. That was the only Summoner spell used in that confrontation. And BF Sword for Tristana. So Signature is back with that, but Impactful back and gets himself a Sheen. So these spikes are still in favor of Corki at this moment.
Yeah, it's still going to be a pretty brutal fight right here. The only difficulty is if Corki doesn't... actually, no. There's no way that Corki can't land auto attack, like Q auto attacks. It's like if it's Ezreal, Sheen can sometimes backfire because you won't hit anything. But Corki pretty much is guaranteed to hit all his abilities. So, yeah, Impactful is probably still stronger here in this fight.
And Saint, he's hovering around that bottom lane. It looks like it might be close to Dragon time for these two teams. Pink Ward in the river from LoLPro. And LoLPro still with this early game lead.
It's a really patient game, too. Oh, hold on. Looking at Bunny. He does have ulti, though, so an all-in's not going to do too very much. Impactful, though, trades in onto Patoy, who's actually fairly tanky. Saint does come in, involves the W, goes in for a good amount of damage. Another bomb hits Patoy, and he's down to 300 health. You see those power spikes working pretty well.
That's a lot. They used a teleport, they used an ultimate from Kha'Zix in exchange for nothing except for a flash from Patoy.
Well, they did both try to TP. Hanser and Chris
TP
both
too.
did.
That's right.
They both canceled, realizing the fight was not going to happen anymore, but that is actually teleports on cooldown for 3 minutes or so.
They both have, actually, sorry, they both don't have ways to cancel each other. Hanser has the advantage there. But look at this. Heaven Time going to go after Bunny.
All right, lock up on the Bunny, who should probably be forced to sell ulti or flash away. Impactful is going to go down, though. Could not do enough damage. The chase still on for Heaven Time. Going to knock that passive, sorry, the ulti out. And they're not going to chase much farther, but it's still a kill picked up onto Impactful.
Yeah, they do get the flash from Bunny Fufu, the ultimate, and a kill onto Impactful. This bot lane is where all the action is happening right now, because this is a very passive mid lane at the moment.
Yeah, they're just trading farm back and forth, and it's going, honestly, quite well for Lod the whole time. He's holding up great against Keen here. We're going to see this Dragon now taking some damage. Pro, of course, with the kill on the enemy AD carry. And the revive force on the Bunny Fufu Zillion. They're going to get Dragon for their efforts.
And this might just be the bot lane that LoLPro has been looking for all season long.
Yeah.
They have had 3 roster swaps all in that bottom lane. And if you count Lod moving up to mid lane, you've had about 5 different variations of this bottom lane this season.
And honestly, this is definitely the best one. We weren't sure if it was going to be, if it was a real test when they fought the quarterfinals, but here up against Bunny and Impactful, a strong lane of Corki and Zillion. This is great from LoLPro. So yeah, this problem I think is very obviously solved. Hanser's been great all tournament long. Heaven Time's been great. Lod's been amazing, and this is a very good LoLPro team.
Oh, the exhaust coming down, but here's Saint.
Gonna go for the knockup and try to get away on a Saint Vision, but it's not gonna be enough. Keen will pick up that kill. Very unfortunate timing there for Lod.
Hey, Keen comes up really big there and uses his Orianna mechanics to get the ball through, but at the same time, Lod, he didn't get the win time to snuff the ball.
Yeah, that's a pretty unfortunate play right here. Hanser and Chris, though, still in a battle. Ulti popped. Chris's ulti is down at this point, so with that slow, a little bit more damage dealt, and Hanser is bullying this Mundo away while being up about 20 CS.
Yeah, Hanser's having a really good time, and they put the priority on the Kha'Zix here for Curse Academy. But for the LoLPro, it was the Tristana and the Maokai. And both of those champions are actually doing really well for them. So their investment is paying off. But then when the team fights come around, that last pick, Yasuo, will have to show itself. Because Keen right now is getting ramped up. And he got himself a Seeker's Armguard. His build is actually all over the place right now.
It's an interesting build. I think he's going to go Morellan Amicon overall. But basically, Tyr is the mana item, and Zonius is the I don't want to die to Yasuo item. So, yeah, it is really sort of... He's spread apart, but they're all items that make sense in this game.
It's kind of the equivalent of going Brutalizer, Hex Drinker.
Yeah.
Because you get these mid-item, like, build-up things that give you stats that you need that are crucial to your champion and your lane matchup, and they build into things later for you. So that's what this is he's going for these pieces that'll pay off later, but now he's going to start building big chunks of things like the Morellonomicon.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be Heaven Time blocking away this ward and being ready to gank bottom if he needs to. Right now, Curse Academy have really not kept ward control up, and basically at all. I see almost no blue wards on the map whatsoever. LoLPro does hold the vision lead. As they trade kills back and forth, you can see, you know, that Dragon picked up there was for very obvious reasons. And right now, LoLPro are playing like the better team.
Yeah, they definitely are in terms of map movement. But here's the thing, is when we saw Curse Academy play against Coast, it was just wards. Wards all day long from both teams. Hundreds of wards died each game.
I know. So many. 4 wards lost their lives.
Alas, poor Yord. Poor ward.
Oh, there's a knockup on a Satan. No shockwave that'll counterattack this one. If he comes out, he leaps out of the catacomb, but is the damage going to be there? Lod tries. He gets the kill. Now Heaven Time and Keen in a 1v1. That Keen is likely to win here. Does get that one. Double buff and double kill over to Curse Academy. Keen.
Oceanic mid laner coming over here. He's Korean as well. 3-0. Highest CS in the game. He is ready to just go off now. They just put Curse Academy back in the lead. And look at this. He's going to roam near top. He's not even going to waste time doing nothing. He's going to go push something. This is the effective map movement that you will see. He's already killed the mid lane editor. Bunny Fufu now getting attacked on the bottom lane. The pops guilty onto himself, and will they trade back onto Impactful? Looks like Zig kind of wants to back out from this one. There is that top lane dive paying off as Hanser goes down. They saw that coming too. Look at this, Patoy with the hook. What a great flash hook. The 2-man play as well. Exhaust onto Zig, though, means they can't get too much for it. Patoy taking a whole bunch of damage from Impactful. That's the kill picked up. Thanks to the Sheen. He's going to dive on in more. Flash, rocket, one more to get the kill. Summoner heal used. Not a big one, not going to be enough damage. Zig gets away with a barely sliver of his life. 30 HP in his health bar. Just barely making it out of there. And at the same time, there was a gank top. Keen got the kills mid. Got double buffs. Pushed the turret. Goes up top. he gets this dive, he walked through a pink ward to get there. They saw him coming. Hauntzer had full information of this. He still has his flash and his teleport, but does not get out of there. Keen, the big thing here with different regions, NA, is kind of, we'll just use NA as a standard line, right? China, they have very purposeful movements on the map. That is the difference. And then when you look at Korea, they have very purposeful movements, but they have economy of movement too. They will take the best route to get there at the right time. And that's what we're seeing here. He didn't push mid. He didn't even get auto attacks on that tier 2 turret. He goes straight top. And that's something you'll see from a Korean solo queue player. Is that you have to apply pressure.
Yeah, and he did a beautiful job with that one. And you look at this, and the kills are in exactly all the right place for Curse Academy. 3 for Impactful, 3 for Keen. Even Chris has got one to tilt his matchup as well. The gold is in all the right places, and even though dragons are nice to have, and the gold's only 1,000 apart, I just feel like Curse Academy are powering up perfectly in this game.
Yeah, like you said, all the right golds in all the right places, and the hooks, not quite in the right place. But this pink ward being fought over back and forth.
Well, it goes down. New ward comes out anyway. Impactful already has his Trinity Force, though. Zig almost to Shiv for himself. It's still going to be a hard matchup to fight.
Saint still sticking around, evolves his wings after he hits 11. And now both junglers hanging out down bottom. Saint's going to dive this, though.
Speed it up. Time Bomb gets a kill, picked up there. Revive used. That's going to be 1 for nothing so far. Up comes Impactful. Gets away from Heaven Time. Actually very successfully. Q comes out, but a whole bunch of damage coming by. Haunter wants to cut it around. So does Chris, though, and the battle continues. Great Void Spikes coming out. Haunter just holding the front line, as is Chris. These tanks not wanting to take very much damage, but looks like Chris and Curse Academy getting the better side of this one.
Lot is pinched off, though.
Oh, Lod's got to be careful. Jumps through a couple of minutes. He might get away from this one. Cleaver thankfully misses. Time Bomb still on. Knockup comes through. Of course, does not chase that kill down. But pressure on the turret now for Curse Academy.
Yeah, Curse Academy are definitely team fighting better, and they're having better map movements, whereas Law Pro had better vision control up until this point. Curse Academy wrestled it back, and off of these mid lane skirmishes, and Keen getting those early game stat items for himself, really coming up big. He's transitioned this lead for his team into a mid-game spike.
I gotta say, to me, I think this is a lot of Keen being amazing. He has completely out-roamed Laud and outplayed him after the early laning phase where CS went equal, but then you saw the gank assists, you saw the roams to the various lanes here. Keen's been massive for Curse Academy. Yeah,
and I was told by Atlas, one of the Australian casters, that Keen will always transition a lead for himself into a lead for the team. And you see exactly that with the zone control from Orianna, getting themselves into a dragon, the second one of the game, but the first one for Curse Academy.
So absolutely glorious stuff then. Keen is doing wonderfully. Merlin Omicron is done now, so poor Maokai is going to have a hard time healing up himself. And it kind of now rests on Signature to be a hard carry. 141 CS, 1 kill, 2 assists. Shiv's done. He should be able to power up pretty nicely, but you've got this really long lull for Law Pro because there's so much mid-game power right now for Curse Academy.
Yeah, they're definitely using this mid-game power spike for themselves. And Signature, he's definitely in that slump because he's not at 2-item Tristana just yet, whereas this Corki already has the Trinity Force completed, and he's on his way to his attack speed. His next item, actually.
Ruin King, I believe.
Yeah, so it looks like it's what it's going to be here.
It's a pretty good build. Should be pretty powerful for Impactful, and it's going to help him stay relevant, help him knock down this poor little Maokai who's, I guess, not been left alone in the top lane, but it's been just that one gank turned into a kill.
Bunny Fufu face checks.
Yeah, that's a bit of a risk. Nice hook onto Impactful, half HP already. Zilean will force the revive soon. Actually doesn't even have to right now, just deals a bunch of damage. Impactful's going to motion back up and use the Vamp Scepter. Zig and Potoy really want to get back in this game.
Bunny Fufu holding off on the Zilean ultimate. It's one of those things where you have a lot more pressure when it's still up than if you use it, it gets wasted. So really good on him not to be, I guess, have a quick trigger finger.
Every single time Potoy throws that lantern down, I expect Zig to click it and like screw Potoy over. And it's good on Zig not to click that thing. Sometimes you don't click the lantern, it's time bombs on your head.
Saint is in that bush. They did see him, he peeked out for a second.
Well, again, the hasted time bomb Kha'Zix, pretty good ganker. I like how hard Saint's been farming, actually. Part of it's the Zilean passive, of course, but I've been kind of pleasantly surprised how high level this Kha'Zix is. Yeah, going a very offensive build.
The Zilean passive helps a little bit, but at the same time, when you max those spikes and you evolve them as well in the jungle, you come out of the jungle extremely healthy when you have Lizard Elder. You actually get basically better returns because you heal yourself with the Void Spikes in general. Then you have that on top of it, and it does extra damage to minions. Right. Then multiplied by Lizard Elder, it's just ridiculous how much HP you get out of one camp.
Yeah, and so far, life's been good for St. Vicious here. 1 kill, 3 assists, 1 death, but no big deal for himself.
And you clear it so quickly, too. We're going to get a little glimpse of that
let's
here
see this.
in a second.
Smite, Q, W,
And then they're
whole
gonna die.
camp is dead.
There you go.
That took like 3 seconds.
And he's on his way to gank mid.
He found his way in. Keen almost out of mana, though. He does have blue buffs, so it'll come back eventually, but you're seeing Lod still just trying to trade the farm and retreat back out. Lod knows he's the easier to kill champion in this lane, but is so far holding up.
Yeah. Wow, so back and forth in this top lane, but that gank up top did really upset it. Keen with some good map movements, not just sitting around and being a mid laner who's going to sit and farm. And look at that, he's completed his Seraph's Embrace. He's ready to be defensive in his item build against his Yasuo. He's going to be very hard to kill. And it's 20 minutes in, and he's almost level 16.
Yeah, this is a pretty incredible game from Keen. Curse Academy taking their time right now, though. Playing a little bit slower, go back to the lane.
Oh,
Great shotgun on a lot. Exhaust used on both sides. Heaven Time wants in. Can he make it happen? Good preemptive flash.
He's going to keep going.
Keen could maybe get some damage more onto Heaven Time. No one can really stop him here. Just a couple command attacks, and Keen will stop one more time, but bottom lane editor turret goes down to Curse Academy. Everything's still going perfectly for the blue team.
The presence that Keen has in the mid lane is definitely a lot different than ManCloud when I'm looking at them in comparison. Keen,
He's more aggressive.
yeah, he's more aggressive. I'm trying to figure out words to describe it, but
Right
they're
now,
going to move
though,
top.
Yeah, mid lane's unlocked. Hanser's still
aggression.
half HP. Chris really trying to keep him down. Good sweeper to get rid of the wards. But Hanser knows better. He's seen this one before.
Deja
That
vu.
died last time. He's going to back up, but that will mean outer turret 100%.
Yep. St. Vicious off on the side here. He's going to get some vision too. That's what helps with the evolution on W. Gets the extra slow, gets you the vision and the try spikes.
Law Pro looks like they are going to try to wait around, but they really can't defend this turret whatsoever. Keen gets all the local gold. So that is a very rich Orianna. And out they go, looking to be just continuing to control this one. Now, it is a little bit slower paced than LoL Pro's wins from yesterday's games, but Curse Academy is certainly not letting this game slip.
Yeah, and look at that. Keen has 1,600 gold more than the highest person on LoL Pro at the moment. He basically has a needlessly large rod over his next biggest opponent.
He definitely has that over Lod, who will not be building any AP this game.
Yeah. That many combat stats worth of gold over.
I know, I just felt like trolling you.
I know.
Okay.
When do you not feel like trolling me?
Like never.
Exactly.
Well, sometimes I forget you exist because I have other things going
See,
on in
that's
my life.
now you're trolling me right now in this exact moment.
Sometimes you just don't matter enough to me, so I don't troll you. In this case, at least when I troll you, you know it. You know I care about you.
Thank you.
I've acknowledged your existence.
That's how Freak shows his love. If you get trolled by Freak, you know you're in.
I've acknowledged you. You're welcome.
You're within his monkey sphere, and he cares now.
Monkey Sphere. All right, we'll go with that one. Dragons up in 30 seconds. Curse Academy up about 5,000 gold here. They've got such good control. I like how they didn't have any wards. They put 7 down right around Dragon. Like, yeah, it's time to ward.
Yep, that's the time. And Dragon, they know there's 20 seconds on it. Saint is going to try to force this.
He's going to try pretty hard. I don't think he's going to get this way in just yet, but it will force LoL Pro back, and I believe he takes some damage on the retreat. The one difficulty though for Curse Academy, if they ward this way, like only when objectives are up, it leaves you open for those ad hoc ganks that like Heaven Time could just show up and kill somebody with his EQ, and that's a bit of a concern for Curse Academy, but right now they're not getting punished for it.
So I want to keep an eye on Curse Academy's team fighting positioning, because watch how many people actually group up next to each other, because if a knockup comes out, Laud will be able to turn the fight. That's like the way that LoL Pro gets back in. But how many people take the ulti?
Oh, flashing away. Only Hanser gets caught. Looks like his ulti still not going to be used just yet. The timer, of course, only 10 seconds now in 4:14. Got to save that cooldown sometimes. Chris goes in with the haste and the time bomb. Wants to really push LoL Pro back. And once again, they're going to aggro Dragon, waiting for this fight to start proper. Curse Academy, though, still much higher in health now. They've been poking down LoL Pro. Hanser goes in. He wants this fight. Ulti's still not popped yet, though. And a bunch of damage being dealt. Hanser forced to run away. Finally, it popped that one. And now you're seeing 1-for-1 so far. Good engage. Heaven Time goes down, though. Curse Academy still winning. Zig wants in. He does trade, and he rocket jumps away. He tries to flash out, but he will likely go down to Impactful. That was almost a miracle play. 3-2 for Curse Academy.
They took Keen off the field instantaneously, but Bunny Fufu ultimated him. That was kind of what turned the fight around, because when you have that many combat stats getting wrecked that quickly, he didn't even use his Seraph's Embrace in time. That's how quickly he got blown up the first time, and then he came back up and he died again, and he still wasn't able to use that activatable on that item. Watch where the damage gets focused here. We see the flash in from Hanser, just start off on Keen, main target. They use the last breath on him, knocked up again, he's dead. No time to even use an activatable item because he's CC'd too much. Then he comes out, he thinks he's safe, he gets hooked in, and instantaneously just blown up by a nice little jump by Zingter. He did have a window there to use his activatable, but he just didn't use it.
That's actually a surprising choice. I know.
I don't think it was a choice.
Oh, well, yeah.
I'm not going to use
a surprising fail.
I'm not going to save myself here.
Yeah, it's a 2-minute cooldown. You just don't always want to use it.
I will give you this kill.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and this happens to me when I play mid lane. To be fair, I'm not as good as Keen, but you forget you have Seraphs because you don't buy it that often. Like, I finally realized that Zhonya's is an item, and then I use it pretty consistently now. But I understand, actually, a lot of mid laners just forget you got Seraphs sometimes. And that obviously was a misplay by Keen, but hopefully he'll do it right next time.
It definitely takes some learning and adjustment to get used to the item. Like, when you first buy Mikhail's.
Sure.
Things like that.
I'm actually pretty good with Mikhail's, surprisingly. I don't even play support, and I usually remember to use it. So I feel good about that. But
Baron.
This is interesting. Chris Academy trying to take this one down with 2 people. Ward's coming down. Heaven Time's going to spot this one out with his trinket. Actually, no, sorry, a regular ward there. And that's going to force Chris Academy to back off. Chris knocked into the air, but he's a tank. Who cares? 5-kill lead and about a 4,000 gold lead. I can count. 5,000 gold lead. There we go. Got it right this time. Chris Academy still in control.
You said you can count. I was doubting for a second.
There's also subtraction. Not even counting.
Count the difference.
That's subtraction. That is literally subtraction.
Which involves counting.
It doesn't really, though.
Does it?
If I use a calculator, I don't have to count. I just literally press the button, and it shows me a number, and I say it out loud.
But you don't have a calculator, so you were counting. Anyway, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Maybe it does. The things we discussed in the challenge
You were speaking about Zhonya's and using it. Keen now has his Zhonya's on top of his Seraph's Embrace, so he has multiple defensive options available to him. I don't think he'll get blown up again in the same way. Level 16, rank 3 ultimate, highest level in the game. He's ready for this team fight. He's actually tied with Chris, who has caught up to him after that. And now, this is just the positioning of LoL Pro and the positioning of Curse Academy. You have to avoid a ball if you're LoL Pro. If you're Curse Academy, you have to avoid multiple knockups on your primary targets. They haven't been giving that up.
It's true.
Only person that got knocked up last time was Keen. So the last breath is going to be the turning mechanic here, and Laud hasn't even gotten to his last breath. I mean, his Infinity Edge. There we go.
True.
So he still has power spikes to come. Really gigantic power spikes.
The problem is, though, LoL Pro needs room to breathe to finally catch up, though. I don't know how much Curse Academy is going to give them. They are playing a bit slow. Curse Academy are taking their time on this one. But as long as the gold lead keeps growing, they're still doing pretty well for themselves. We're only 27.5 minutes into this game. Mid-tier 2 maybe under fire here pretty soon. Looks like the siege is going to be the case for Curse Academy. Their turret killing is reasonably good. Orianna, Corki, and Zillion are all okay at it, so they can slowly take this turret down over time, but I think the really big swing for Curse Academy will eventually be a Baron bait.
Yeah, they could bait a Baron, but the thing is how often does St. Vicious want to actually bait an objective? I don't know.
I mean, they'll have to peel off. I mean, I got you on that one, but they will very much, I think, like every time, peel off and try to start a fight. And it is something that LoL Pro will have to face check. You can't outsmite Saint unless you're in range to smite.
I don't even know if they would start it up. I think they would just clear vision and make you face check it.
Probably.
I think Saint's a smart enough player that he wouldn't take a Baron at this point. And I think he's adapted. Like, I've seen him grow a lot over the Challenger Series.
Yeah, he's definitely gotten a lot better since we first saw him here. Mid lane tier 2 goes down. Dragons up in 2 minutes. Curse Academy continue the slow and steady pace of controlling this game. Still not giving any windows to LoL Pro.
And we've talked a bunch about Keen and how he set up things for his team. But Impactful has really started running away with it. 5-1 and 2 on the Corki. He's much stronger than Tristana at this point in the game. And he's ready to just shove these turrets down with his Trinity Force.
Yeah, and he's actually added some more attack damage as well. Interestingly, went for... That was actually not a Ruin King. That was a Vamp Scepter to have the sustain. And then he was going towards Zerg Greaves and said, you know what, I can afford Infinity Edge. Which is, by the way, the best second item on Corki. So props to Impactful for knowing that. And he's just got plenty of damage output now. Triforce Infinity Edge is really powerful. Great Shockwave onto 2. Force the Flash away. Hauntzer goes in, but this is basically a 4v5 knockup onto Keen. They try to take him down. Saint in the mix, and he actually goes down first. Bunny Boo has popped the ultimate to try to revive Keen, but Keen didn't take enough damage, so Impactful is now going to be forced to run away. He kites back beautifully and stays alive, though, and now Heaven Time, Hauntzer, and co are forced away. Great briefcase from Chris. Is going to slow down, force the flash. And it's actually a 1-for-0 that LoL Pro won. However, it's a push lead for Curse Academy.
Yes, they're going to be able to chunk down this turret. They blew up St. Vicious because the ultimate from Bunny Fufu was used on Keen, who wasn't chunked down, only to about half HP. They're going to get a turret, they're going to get a blue, and they'll set up for the Dragon, which is in about 30 seconds. They'll get wards over it, they'll be able to back and get themselves some gold items.
So look at this. Dragon in 27 seconds. Most of Curse Academy, actually all of them forced to recall and heal up and everything like that. So the ward coverage could easily be grabbed by LawPro instead. They'll actually be at Dragon first. And heck, if you get Dragon for a tier 2 turret, that's a reasonable trade.
Yeah, and it looks like they aren't going to make it back in time. It's about 10 seconds on it. They'll be right around the river bend.
Yep. Here we go, LawPro. 3 seconds. Sapling already in range. Hanser knows. He's going to score a goal with that one. Hit Dragon. And Curse Academy are right around, though.
Ooh, they got there just in time. And the speed boost.
Good escape there by Heaven Time, but Curse Academy's already coming around the mountain, and they're going to be taking this Dragon down rather quickly. Time Bomb is on. LawPro try to get in there, but they're not going to get there in time. Dragon picked up 2-man shotgun on a Hanser and Heaven Time. Another knockup comes through. St. Vicious low on health as well. Bunny Fufu does use the ultimate and gets one revive off, but looks like kills are coming in for Curse Academy fast and furious. Hanser goes down. A good kill from Signature, but he's in basically a 2-on-3 at this point. Gets Bunny Fufu, jumps away from Chris. One hit from Dead. That cleaver's not going to hit him, though, and now the Flay, but try to keep his teammates safe, and that is actually a 3-for-3 fight, but still a Dragon.
You can't hit him. He has Thornmail.
Yeah,
he has Thornmail. You're going to kill yourself.
Going to lose health here. Flay doesn't send him far. Impactful's about to be here. Patoy Q's over the wall. Lanterns himself. Impactful is going to get the kill anyway. That is now a 4-for-3 plus Dragon for Curse Academy.
Yeah, Chris bought the Thornmail, so there's no way that Signature could even turn around and start to fight him. And
Keen didn't use his Seraphs again.
Did he? I thought he did.
It's not on cooldown. It might have been used in the last fight, and so it was still on cooldown, so 2-minute cooldown, but...
So he uses his Zonias here. He actually has the ultimate from Bunny Fufu on him. He shields himself, and...
then it times out.
I guess.
And then Trist blows him up.
Again. I thought I saw it on cooldown. He may have used it... I think he used it...
It might have been during the previous fight.
He was down from the previous fight. It just came up when he was dead. Because I remember looking at it and being like, okay, what's he got? And he had the Zonias on cooldown as well as the Seraphs.
Okay.
It came up after.
So the prior fight was the 1-for-0 for the tier 2 turret. Then never mind. I am silly for pointing that out.
Yeah. Silly freak.
Sometimes I'm silly. If you're somebody named, we're not going to be Zyrene, what would it be? Because mine would be Silly.
Yours would be Silly?
Why not? I'm David Silly Turley. What a horrible screen name.
David Silly Turley. Oh my god. I would be Aiden, don't call me Aiden Moon Moon.
Nice. Well, here's the engage in the top lane, though. Lot is going to be a little bit endangered here. Flash in for St. Vicious. Damage comes through. That is 1 kill picked up. Heaven Time wants the engage. Beautiful shotgun catches Zig and Patoy, but they're going to stay alive so far. Chris in the front line just does not take damage, though, and that is now a dead Maokai as well. He's been turned into paper, and then top lane tier 2 going to be attacked soon.
And they're actually going to back off of it here and just go for some jungle camps. The great engage there. The shockwaves from Keen have been really good. Even if somebody flashes away, he still manages to catch at least one person, and it's the Baron that Curse Academy have in their sight right now. And no members of LawPro are around. Heaven Time is about to have his smite up, but he doesn't have vision of it anymore.
That's going to time away. Flag comes down. He will be able to see with this. Shockwave not up just yet. This could be the play. Wait for the flag that is timed out. He goes in anyway. Smite. Oh, it's picked up actually by the Corky of Impactful. That's the kill on Heaven Time as well. This could be a 2-for-0 plus the Baron. Looks like it will be. Shut down goes over to that Kha'Zix of St. Vicious, and this could be the game for Curse Academy.
They're going to start pushing down this mid lane. They have the Baron regen. The wave being cleared out from Keen, and there really isn't a whole bunch that LawPro can do at this point. Laud, he's put up a good fight, but he's 0-5-6 on that Yasuo. They just haven't been getting the last breaths because of the positioning of Curse Academy in the fights and just the overpowered mid game that they brought to the table. Overpowering. Yeah,
it was incredibly overpowering mid game. Keen set him up, Impactful got a bunch of kills, and the two of them just were the damage sources that crushed this game. 12,000 gold lead now. Mid inhibitor is gone. They ping top tier 2. Curse Academy are not done with this Baron buff.
No, they're going to go get more off of that. They're going to keep pushing objectives. There's no downtime here for this team. It's been a 34-minute game, but there hasn't really been any lulls in the action. They have purposeful movements around the map, and they are always doing something.
Absolutely.
They aren't just farming. They aren't content with sitting on a lead. They're pushing it, even if it's about a 500 gold lead, which we saw Keen get, and then move top.
Yeah, the roams have been absolutely incredible. Two-man shockwave, that is not good for LawPro. Down goes Lod without getting to press a single button right there. Top lane inhibitor going to go down. The inhib itself will follow. This is surely going to be game on this push for Curse Academy. Maybe. They're going to go to the bot lane now.
And they're going to push this. There's a minion wave for them. Think of how good of a player Lod is and how much we've been talking about them. And then compare that to how well Keen has been doing this game in comparison to him.
Absolutely dismantled that guy. Now Chris does not care about damage whatsoever, walks in the face of a turret, doesn't even tickle him the slightest. Inhibitor turrets all dead, inhibitors all gone as well, and now next turret number 1 is going to fall. Only one turret left on the map. Superman is flooding into the base. 36-minute game. This will certainly be game 1 going to Curse Academy, and now they are a single game away from the LCS promotion tournament.
Used his Seraph's Embrace and his Sonia's there.
Nice.
Not forgetting about those activatable items. Keen really stepping up this game and showing why they brought him onto the team. Because he brought so much to it, not just from that mid lane pressure, but he freed everybody else up. Because LawPro was ahead at the start for some good back and forth, kind of a tug of war.
Sure.
And then Keen blew it wide open with that gank mid. Upset gets the 2 kills, full HP, double buffs, roams top, upset the mid lane, upset the jungle, upset the top lane. Then they went and got a dragon, and he zoned, and that upset the bottom lane too. Yeah,
I think this is one of those games where it gets tilted is the wrong word because he was tilted for players who are like on tilt and are like not playing very well. This is a matchup that was swung, there we go, by individual play, and I think it is Keen. The bot lane was close 2-on-2. Great plays on both sides, to be fair. Some really good stuff either way. But the fact that Keen got out of his lane, won the top lane, won the bot lane alongside St. Vicious, that was the catalyst. That set the game up and set all the other map control here. Because, yeah, you talk about LawPro getting the early lead. They got the first dragon. They were doing really well. Their bot lane was holding up with a late game AD carry. Zig ended the game 6-3-2, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
He carried his weight. The bot lane's good for LawPro. But the fact that Keen...
mid.
Yeah. Exactly. The fact that Keen crushed Lod and made plays elsewhere was what this game was about.
0-6-6 for Lod. A 1.0 KDA.
Yeah.
That is a really abysmal performance from him.
Right.
But Keen is just very overpowering in lane.
Yeah, he is.
Keen has been when duo queuing with St. Vicious a lot. So they have gotten their jungle synergy down. And Keen seems to have adapted very quickly.
Yeah.
And he's on a comfort champion this game. He's on that Orianna, which is one of his top 4, and I think the only remaining of his top 4 that wasn't nerfed
his original pool. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's going to be the real test then is, what do you adapt to from here? Because you've got to make very drastic changes, obviously, because Keen could not be held down. I like the fact that Lod had a ban-worthy Yasuo in the first series in the quarterfinal. They let him have it, and Keen could clearly deal with this. So yes, LawPro has to react to this, respect the picks here, respect the fact that I think Hanser's doing fine top lane against this Mundo of Chris. That's fine, but clearly Lod cannot handle Keen, so do something to change that. Whether it's getting a really good jungle pick that can tilt the matchup, getting a camp right away from Heaven Time, or just getting rid of Orianna in his champion pool. But you got to do something about this.
Yeah, you might have to throw some bans at him because it's quite obvious that Lod can't handle him on a 1-on-1 or a 2-on-2 at the moment because Keen just farmed out of his mind, highest CS in the game.
Yep.
And I think the highest kill participation as well. Actually, no, there's one person ahead of him. It's
14,
Impactful.
Impactful with 15.
Impactful is a little bit ahead of him just by 1.
Yeah.
So it's very, very close.
Yep. Still 7 KD performance Orianna. Great player overall. We're going to see more from Keen in the next game. So our first semifinal game is in the books, but we need to take a quick break. When we come back, it's game 2 between LawPro and Curse Academy. So stick around. There's more Challenger action coming your way. To Impactful, Batoy wants blood anyway, though. Bunny Fufu 2 hits from dead. He needs one more. It's Batoy in range. He is going to get the hook, and he gets the kill. If he comes out, he leaps out of the catacomb, but is the damage going to be there? Lod tries. He gets the kill. Now Heaven Time and Keen in a 1v1. That Keen is likely to win here. Curse Academy still winning. Zig wants in. He does trade, and he rocket jumps away. He tries to flash out, but he will likely go down to Impactful. St. Vicious low on health as well. Bunny Fufu does use the ultimate and gets one revive off, but looks like kills are coming in for Curse Academy fast and furious.